Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another edition of First Look. And in this edition of First Look, I'll be doing First Look UFC 294 Makhachev versus Volkanovski 2. So with this video, I'm gonna be giving three fights, not exactly maybe 3-4. I might document the main event just a little bit. But I'm giving three fights for the most part that kind of stand out to me odds wise for this card as of right now. Might be more. I might pick the fighter. I might not. I think only one of these ones I'm truly picking. The other two, like, I'm still on the fence yet. I haven't made my predictions for the fights card yet. I mean, for the fights on card, or for all the fights on card just yet. But yeah. So two of the fights are going to be. I mean, two of the fighters are going to be Brazilian fighters who have had a history of being Russian kryptonite, and one of them is going to be a fighter who, in that matchup, I think, for the odds that is being given, I think this is one of the better odds value and one of the better success rate. I see a lot of fighters on the card with these juiced up odds and chalked up odds that don't really deserve them. But I think this fighter does. And I think versus fighter he's fighting, I think he has all the advantages. So first off, let's start with that guy. So first one is Said Nurmagomedov versus Muin Gafarov. And right now, Said Nurmagomedov is minus 218. You got all these guys with, well, not plus, you got all these guys like -4, -5, and minus this, minus that on the card. And they're going in there with much tougher matchups. But I think Said Nurmagomedov had minus 218 going in against Muin Gafarov, who I think he has every single advantage over. I think he's the better wrestler. I think he's the better striker. I think he's the bigger man. I think he has more upside. I don't think Muin Gafarov has a single win inside the UFC. Doesn't have the best cardio. I think he does have some decent striking, but again, not as consistent with it, not very patient, and yeah, nothing that I don't think Said Nurmagomedov should have issue. I think Said Nurmagomedov should be the bigger, longer guy, better cardio, better wrestling, better submission grappling, better striking, and should be able to win this way however he wants to. I think he could potentially get a stoppage late, but probably most likely going to be a decision, just outworking him and outpacing him and just being smarter and using all the experience he has gained in the UFC to win. And then we saw in his last fight, he could be in tough situations and win, whereas I have not really seen that from Muin Gafarov, at least not at a high level, and definitely not in the UFC. So, Said Nurmagomedov at minus 218, I think that's the steal of the card, to be honest. It's not the dog of the card, because it's not a dog. So it's probably definitely going to be at least one or two dogs biting on this card. So it's not the best value on the card, but as far as, trustworthiness to get it done, I think this is probably the best one on the card, in my honest opinion. Top to bottom, the best one. Second one is going to be Bruno Silva versus Sharputin Magomedov. And Sharputin Magomedov, he just kind of giving me what's that dude name? But it was his other fighter. It was his welterweight fighter. I remember his name, but all in all, he gave me, it was his welterweight fighter. I think it was Islam Mamedov. No, that's not him. That was another guy. But Zaylim Imaev. I think that's the dude name. He was a welterweight. No, I'm not gonna say all this, all that, but what I'm trying to say is kind of similar region, but short temper, aggressive, not that technical. He probably not as bad as that guy, at least as fighting, but it seemed like he's worse than him outside the cage. The other guy just kind of was like that as far as training. He was getting tapped out, but not refusing to tap and going to sleep. But yeah, Zaylim, I think, yeah, he was out there, been a very annoying training partner from what I hear, like from word of mouth and all, from interviews, like out there, just been a sparring partner who just tries to war in the gym, like, don't be in position they should tap, but they try to fight out everything, being there fighting, trying to war every single time. And he came to UFC with a little bit of hype and came out winning not a single fight inside the UFC. I don't know what happened to him. I have not heard nothing from him. Got stopped like 2 times. I think came in debut, lost to Max Griffin. And yeah, I feel like Sharputin and Magomedov kind of in that same boat. I feel like Zaylim was more crazy as far as in the gym and octagon. I feel like in the cage or whatever with fighting. But I feel like Sharputin Magomedov is more crazy in real life. Like, this dude started a fight with somebody because they were kissing. Like, a couple was kissing, so I guess over there that's offensive to do that in public. And he went over and started a fight with a dude. The other dude may have swung, but you started a fight with a dude. Like, y'all going up separate sides of the escalator, and he went down came up your escalator, came down his escalator, got in his face, and I think even if that dude didn't swing, Sharpudin was gonna swing on him. So he was like this close to dude's face, like that's close. So this is a very aggressive, weirdo type dude. I understand you got this and that over there, but leave that to the law, leave that to someone else, or but trying to start a fight over there, I don't care where you from. That's just shows very low, this low IQ, low temper, low this, low that, or high temper, I guess. But yeah. So he just not the smartest fighter. When I watch his fights, I'm not really impressed by his skills. Low level competition, a lot of weird padded fights on his record. He just looked like another hype job. He already could barely see out of one eye. Haven't seen no real solid grappling from him. If anything, like more of a striker. And he got by getting by fighting mediocre competitions. He might have at least decent wrestling defense, but nothing great on the offensive side from what I've seen. Grabbing to him is like this is getting low IQ looking dude. Barely could see out of one eye. And out there like competing in grappling competition saying, don't attack my legs. You're going to grapple. It's not you getting paid for this, or who knows, maybe you're getting paid, but you should just like, oh, I'm really an MMA fighter. I know I got injury, but I'm gonna come in here and say, oh, can you not do this? Maybe that's what the mixed rules were. Hey, don't go for his legs. He got weak legs or something. Who knows? But and all those fights, but yeah, I understand, dude. And yeah, then he get tapped out. He kicking dudes, and I seen like several different competitions. He get frustrated like a little kid because he losing or because he can't do it. And I'm not really saying no exceptional wrestling, no exceptional grappling on the feet, no exceptional striking, but exceptional height. So I think Bruno Silva, who has, I don't really think Bruno Silva even lost a Russian. Matter of fact, he probably like 7-1 against Russians. So even though he's not looking the best right now in his career, like he was a really good, solid, you know, fighter outside the UFC for a time. He's obviously getting up there in age a little bit, but I think he can still have enough in the tank to beat a hype job like Sharpudin Magomedov. I know for sure that dude ain't going very far in the UFC. He might win this one because he's, this is the best chance he can to beat him. They could have gave him an easier fight potentially, but I guess they're trying to feel like, oh, he's fighting a guy on a downturn, so it could be a decent win for him. But I definitely think Bruno Silva has more than enough to upset him. I think he's the better striker, better skills overall. And I don't think he's gonna go down easy. But so I think Bruno Silva at plus 180, I think that's a good value going against a guy who I'm not very high on, and Sharpudin Magomedov, who I know for sure ain't going very far. I think he's like 2 wins at max in the UFC. They're gonna lose a couple fights and retire. He's not even gonna lose a couple fights and go back to the Regency and get cut. He's gonna retire. And that's what Russians do a lot of times. Like, let's study them. They come in, a lot of hype. At the very best, a lot of them might get a couple wins and get a couple hype around them. The moment they run into a brick wall, lose a fight or two, they go on, most of them. I think Alexander Volkov probably like the only Russian in modern era who made it to UFC, who has lost multiple fights, but kind of stayed around to be somewhat of a gatekeeper. The other ones, they lose a couple fights, they retire, they get different jobs, they become doctors, they become cardiologists, they be doing a whole bunch of stuff, but they don't like losing, and they don't like to stick around once they lose. When they start losing, like, I need to go reconsider careers. It's not even a case of I could be a gatekeeper or just hang around at the number 5 spot for 5 years. Like, nah, I lost. I made as far as I'm gonna make it. I ain't getting no better. I ain't gonna hope to be no Robbie Lawler or no RDA and come back and be great later on. But yeah, Bruno Silva at plus 180, I like that. Now on to the next one. We got Warley Alves. I think he's like plus 350 right now or something like that. And Ikram Alisarov is minus 435. Another fighter who I'm not particularly high on. A lot of people have been slicing up, and I did predict him to win his Contender Series fight. I predicted him to win his debut fight and stuff. So I'm not like, this guy's a scrub. I've just been picking against him both times. And I'm probably gonna pick him in this one, to be honest. But and I ain't been betting against him either or nothing like that. I mean, probably bet him to the Contender Series to win. On the first fight, I think I bet under, and I didn't bet him, but I did pick him. But this one I probably might sprinkle something on Warley Alves or not, or maybe the under, but I'm not sure on that one yet. But I do think Warley Alves has a very good shot. I think we look at who he loses to. He typically loses to fighters that are like pressure fighters that's going to like consistently pressure. Maybe not the heaviest hitters typically, but guys who like really stay on you, probably throw like 100 strikes over the course of a fight, like land over 100 strikes over the course of a fight to stay in the space. That's typically the people who beat him. But like kind of looking for the big shot type fighters, or looking to just throw big shot and wrestle type fighters. I think he does pretty well against those. And I can't really name too many fighters. I can't think that come to my head fighters that have beat him that have had Alessaro style. But I do think the benefit is that Alessaro is at a higher weight class at middleweight, and Ole Alves is not necessarily looking for nominal at welterweight. And then he's come up to a higher weight class first fight against a guy who is decent enough. But again, I don't think he's all that hype. I think he's going to very soon hit a wall and not be able to come to. He's very soon going to hit a wall, win or lose this one, and not be able to overcome it. I'm just not particularly high on him. I don't know why people cite him a guy who is Khamzat Chimaev victim, like he was a Khamzat Chimaev rival, but I'm not particularly high on skill set. Phil Hawes was picking him apart, and I do think Warley Alves is a more technical striker. He has a very good guillotine. You know, he has a skill set good to deal with wrestlers, like very good kicks, very strong hips, technical striking, good takedown defense, and then a patented guillotine. You know, he let it beat Kobe Covington at one point. You know, whether Kobe Covington said he had rib injuries or not, Kobe Covington could do over 100 strikes. I just think he tried to force it a little bit too early, probably because he did have injury. And Warley Alves was able to take advantage. I think he slammed a kick into his rib, which forced Kobe Covington to kind of rush that takedown, which ended up with him falling right into that patented guillotine that Warley Alves had. So, yeah, early on in his career, but nonetheless, I do think Warley Alves is a sneaky one here. Am I picking him? I'm not too sure. But I definitely think that's a spot that's open, and I think the value is good there. So, like plus 350, and probably maybe in the distance or whether or not you could get a better value on that if you're trying to just sprinkle on or hedge. But I know personally I would not put no play Ikram Alisarov at money line at at minus 435 for Ikram Alisarov. I would not. Again, another guy I don't see going too far in the UFC. Not particularly how his skills are whatnot. But yeah. So those three. So what is it? Saad Nurmagomedov at minus 218. We got Bruno Silva at plus 180. And we got Warley Alves at plus 350. Definitely playing I forget his name the moment as soon as I finished saying it. But yeah, definitely playing Saad Nurmagomedov. Definitely playing that at minus 218. Hopefully that don't jump up too much. Stay around there. People sleep on that and keep juicing up these scrubs on the card. But yeah, hopefully that one stays where it's at. Hopefully it drops. Maybe somebody give me some sharps, unsharpen that one, and make those eyes go down because people gonna like try to say Boom Gafarov is the one. But I think that's the best spot on the card as far as value and safeness on it. And then yeah, the main event. Gonna briefly talk about that. I would say Islam Magomedov. It's Islam Makhachev versus Alexander Volkanovski 2. And I think it's good value for Islam Makhachev. Volkanovski fought a great fight the first time, but honestly, I think it was Volkanovski's best performance versus Islam Makhachev's worst performance. And then Islam Makhachev is coming in there. He's younger, he's bigger. He's the one who's been training for this fight, well, for this date already. He had a full camp for this date, completed that full camp for this date. So he's bigger, he's younger, the better wrestler. So he'll be one better able to, choose where this fight goes. Better have a better success of doing that. And he already has a win over Volkanovski in the prior fight. So bigger, younger, holds the win in this grudge match kind of, or in this rivalry. And he's going there with the full training camp. And I think Volkanovski again had his best performance versus Makhachev had his worst performance. And now Makhachev has, I feel like he's the one that's going to get better and better with each fight from now on. I'm not saying forever, but probably for the next 3-4 years, well, probably 2 to 3 years, he'll probably be getting, still have a chance to get better and better with each fight, where I feel like Volkanovski mostly at this point has peaked, and I don't think he's going to get any better. Am I saying, oh, this is the lock or something like that? I'm definitely not. I know Volkanovski has a very good chance, but the fact that Islam Makhachev is like under 300, so he's like minus 250, 260, 280, something like that right now. I think that's a good value for him, especially when you could probably attach a prop to it or have him as a parlay piece, and I think he's a parlay piece that will be able to cash. Like, he's a parlay piece that can, what's called, anchor. I think he can do a good job anchor. And no insult to Volkanovski, not saying it to sleep on him or like, oh, this is the pick or not. But I think the value is good. I don't think they're disrespecting Volkanovski with that value. I know the first fight was competitive, but I think this rematch, I think pretty much everything is leaning to Islam Makhachev. So if Volkanovski can pull it off, I definitely think he can. Best of luck to him. But I think everything is kind of leaning to Islam Makhachev. And with that being the case, I think Islam Makhachev's value is a good value. That's what I will say about the main event. And that's what my thoughts are, or my first observations of UFC 294 are, as far as the values that stick out to me. So that's the video. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and come back for more videos. Peace.